What's up, y'all? Got another video here. This is what I have been reading. Here's a couple of them. Here we got what I've been reading probably the last couple weeks, give or take. We'll see how far back this goes. I got three books really that I wanted to talk about here, or three series, I should say. And I guess we'll start with the one on top, huh? This is Lavender Jack. It's by Dan Scotty Big Body, and Jen Manley Lee, who I believe does lettering, maybe? I actually don't know what they do. Colored. There you go. I should have guessed that. Former webtoon. Don't know if I said that already. Dan Scotty is an artist who I've wanted to check out before. I didn't really know what he did. I saw he did some Flash Gordon stuff, and I was like, oh, I like his style, but I don't give a fuck about Flash Gordon. So we waited for something else here. There you go. It's a little better. And then I saw this pop up, and I was like, oh, we'll give it a shot, Lavender Jack, vigilante stuff, seems interesting. And boy, did I love it. This book is a fucking banger, dude. An absolute masterpiece. It takes place in Gallery City, and we come in, and there's a vigilante called Lavender Jack who's terrorizing all of the rich people who kind of run the city, right? That's the premise. The mayor of the city is getting hassled by all these rich folks. They're like, dude, I'm fucking tired of Lavender Jack stunting on me like this. People saying I got no motion, no hose. Help me out. He's not doing it. And the mayor goes, I'll tell you what. I'll hire the greatest detective in the known world to come and find out who Lavender Jack is. And that's kind of where it takes off. And the story ends up being kind of like, what if Sherlock Holmes was hired to find out who Batman was? Right, which sounds kind of sick. The way it works out, way more interesting than either of those independently, which might be a hot take. I like Batman as much as the next guy, but Batman can be a little, he's oversaturated. So there's a lot of Batman stuff, and Lavender Jack, this is way more fun and unique and cool. Every character, I just feel like character is the word, right? Every character has so much more character here than they would in another book. The detective, Madame Ferrier, sick. Love her. She's I feel like it's such a unique version of this masterful detective. It's definitely got Agatha Christie detective, right? But Hercule Poirot. Got a little bit of Benoit Blanc in here. Except she's an absolute linebacker of a black woman. She's kind of old, a little bit past her prime where the story takes place. But she's a big imposing figure, but still solves most things using her mind and just being smarter than everybody else and being clever and quick thinking and genius planning. It's rad. Super rad. This book, while I was reading it, I was like, damn, there's a lot of black people in the story. Which, isn't always the case. I was like, these are very unique black characters. A lot of the times when you get a black character, it's one of a few things. But all these characters were so interesting. I was like, dang, Dan Scotty must be black. This is the only explanation. Because this motherfucker really gets it. Found out Dan Scotty not black at all. At least based on the picture. I guess I didn't look up his lineage or anything. But I think it goes to show how these are really well crafted characters. And I think everything that it communicates the part of these characters so effortlessly, everybody's so believable. Every character has their own individual arc. They're all smart. Nobody just sucks. Nobody is a caricature of themselves. Everyone is layered and interesting, and you want to learn more about every single character in this book, which is really hard to do. Very unique. Don't get that one a lot. I'll also say, Dan Scotty, this book, his dialogue, this is some of the best written dialogue in comics I have ever read. You can tell that he has a real love for the influences that he's pulling from for this, right? This is very much an Agatha Christie mystery, right? At its heart, and he clearly is a fan of that, but he's also clearly a fan of of Batman. He knows what makes Batman cool. He knows what would make this vigilante cool, and he taps into it effortlessly, I think. This is one of the few books where I would go to work and then I'd just be waiting to get off work so I could open this book and read it some more. This is not the full story of Lavender Jack. I mean, it's all up on Webtoon. I guess you could probably just go and get it up there. I am a caveman who likes paper books. So I will be waiting for the next chapter of the story, which is coming in September, I think, something like that. This one came out like last month or so. But I think this book's really incredible. I think that it's like very unique. I don't think there's a lot of books like this, although there's a lot that try and like jack pieces from this genre, you know? But this one, none of them are more finely executed than Lavender Jack is. Don't at me. Big recommend. Banger masterpiece here, dude. Lavender Jack is sick. Alright. Next one I got here. I might have to zoom out for this boy. This is a big old book. We have The Grand Odalisque. Odalisque? Odalisque? It's got to be something like that. This book is from Fantagraphics, and this motherfucker is huge, bro. Look at how big this book is. There's a Lavender Jack on top of it, bro. This joint is huge. Very nice hardcover. This is by Bastien Vives, perhaps? I don't know. God damn, I have to move my whole setup to fit this shit in here. Also by Rupert and Mulot. I don't know. Bastien Vives is the reason I came here. He is an artist from Last Man, which is a series that I made a video about on here that I was really excited about. That ended up kind of disappointing me at the end. You know, perhaps we'll talk about it another time. But this book, The Grand Odalisque, is about art thieves. Okay? We come in on Carol and... Ooh, what's the other girl's name? Hold up. Gotta check. Alexis? Alex. Damn. Carol and Alex, art thieves, who are planning a heist from the Louvre. So we kind of see a job they did before this. So an art heist is what it comes in on. Then they want to rob from the Louvre. They need to expand their team. So bring in this person, Sam, to help pull off the big heist. Okay? That's kind of the basic idea. Now, first of all, stealing art. This is great. We need more art thief books. We need more art thief media in general. Stealing art, very cool thing to do. This is exactly what I want to hear stories about. Bastien Vives? I don't know. I actually don't know that he's the one drawing this. I'm assuming it is. Whoever's drawing this looks a lot like the art in Last Man, which is why it's throwing me. The composition in this book, spectacular. Best thing about this book, surely the coloring. The colors are beautiful, but the composition is quite good. This guy understands what needs to be shown in comic books, right? He's taking it from a minimalist kind of view. He's like, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to see, and it communicates so easily. And for that, I think this is a very, accessible comic. I think if this is your first comic you'd ever read, I don't know who that is that's getting a Fantagraphics art thief book as their first ever comic, but maybe it happens. I think it could work. I think that this shows you everything you need. I think it's very smartly plotted. I think the dialogue is minimal, which I really like. There's no narrator. There's no text boxes. You're kind of inferring in between the lines on some of the stuff that they say. The character work is spectacular. But really what I think is this is the most well-paced comic I think I've ever read in my life, dude. This comic is just... I gotta skip this page. There's some naked women. You know you do nothing like that. This shit jumps around so quickly, and this book is so light on its feet that it really flies by, dude. Really flies by. As you can see, there's nothing like this one's pretty bad, but it's usually pretty light on text, generally speaking. But this one, it's just taking you from interesting part to interesting part. There's no dead weight. There's no explanations. There's no exposition dumps. We are fucking moving through this. Right? The biggest thing you're going to get is their conversations that they're kind of having in between these, but the character moments really shine. The action is visceral, you know? I felt a lot of the hits that I'm seeing in here. It's all very, intentionally choreographed. There's some great, visual gags in this that, made me laugh out loud. Just classic comics making where somebody is getting just knocked out. There's a great bit with someone getting shot with a tranquilizer dart later on, and it's just people flopping around, which is I feel like the hardest thing to get across in comics. Maybe it's not the hardest thing, but you don't see it done well very often. You don't even see people attempt that shit a lot, I feel like. But a lot of stuff like this where we're just seeing the situation, someone will get knocked out. We have a great time. The characters are really funny. I think the jokes are good. I think it's just the right amount of raunchy and racy to make it, you know, the art heist book that you want. You know, it's got to be a little sexy, I think. Me personally, at least. Look at this, dude. Look at this. Look at the movement captured in here. I don't want to call it simple because that feels a little disrespectful, but it's just exactly what you need to see to get some visceral action. Okay, I understand if this, like, the style of the line work isn't for anybody, but I think that the line work is doing some of, like, the foundational, not heavy lifting, but the not so pretty stats. You know what I mean? The Stefan Castle type of work. And then the colors come in and make it gorgeous. I think this is a spectacularly colored book. I should stop showing you more of these pages. We're already, like, almost a third of the way into this book. Read it for yourself. The Grand Odalisque is spectacular. I had a great time. There's a sequel book, Olympia, that is already out from Fantagraphics. I believe that's as far as the series goes. I'm not totally sure on that. But I really enjoyed this book. I will be buying Olympia. There's also, I'm just saying, Fantagraphics has a box set of both of them together. I don't know if it's in stock now. I hesitated because I don't like buying box sets for books I haven't read. But I will definitely be getting the second one. And to show you the third book that I've been reading here, I will need to pause this. Okay, so look. I pride myself in a lot of these videos to kind of highlight books I don't see people talk about very much. But sometimes there's series you read where I'm just going to talk about them anyways, even though they're popular. For me, manga is something I'm just now starting to really get into. I feel like the thing that really put me on was Vinland Saga and these beautiful deluxe hardcovers that they made. Vinland Saga, for me, I think is one of the great comics ever made. There's still a lot of manga classics I have not read, and this is one of them. This is not like a small indie title here, dude. I'm talking about Blade of the Immortal. In these beautiful hardcovers. Now, Blade of the Immortal has probably one of the great elevator pitches where you have an immortal man who doesn't want to be immortal anymore. And so to stop his immortality, he has made a deal to get rid of his immortality once he kills 1,000 wicked men. That's fucking sick. I don't give a damn who you are. That shit is raw. And so this follows that guy. Main character, Manji. He's moving through. I know what this looks like. But it talks about it right here in the beginning. Sure, it looks like a swastika, but really it's an old Buddhist symbol before it was taken by whoever took it over. It shows up a lot in here, so don't get scared off. It's okay. It's a Buddhist symbol, guys. It was a Buddhist symbol first. Open your mind. We follow Manji. I have read the first 2.5 of these hardcovers now, so that's how far in I am. There's 10 of them, so I'm not that far in. However, I've been enjoying it a great deal, so I figured I'd show it to you. First thing that jumps out to me is that this shit doesn't look like normal manga because he does this, like, pencil shit. I don't know if it's pencil, but it doesn't look like the normal ink lines. Kind of jumps in between where we're doing this lightly, like, super light gradient, and then normal ink line comes in later on, which I really enjoy. I think that this has some... it doesn't have great fight choreography, because there's sometimes where I'm reading it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But the moments is what this gets right. This book, the moments where shit goes down, like this opening sequence, I think is really good. But I think that, I'm forgetting his name, Hiroyuki Samura, is one of the best at just cool-ass moments, right? As this book goes on, we kind of get to know this, like, truly terrible, horrible world that this guy lives in, right? When one hunts down wicked men, it turns out it's kind of a sicko of the week, where we're just looking further and further on for, like, terrible bastards. But it hits, right? The guys are appropriately awful. When we find out that Manji's going to kill somebody, they're bad fucking dudes. I should also bring up, an important plot point of the story is that moments after he makes his pact to kill 1,000 evil men to get rid of his immortality, he is hired by a young girl who had her parents killed by the Ito Ryu, is what they're called. It's like a rival dojo that killed off all the schools because they hate how uppity all these motherfuckers in the dojos are. And honestly, after a little bit of reading in this book, don't blame them. Maybe the killing was a lot. but they didn't seem great. I'll say that. Maybe it's a hot take. Maybe they had a little bit of it coming. Maybe not the whole thing, but a little bit. And so it's him traveling with this girl. She's supposed to be like 16, 17. And they're kind of traveling around to help her get revenge and help him fill out his pact of killing evil dudes. Is where the story goes. And we run into some truly awful, terrible people along the way. On both sides. Like, there are some good guys that are also pretty fucking terrible. I shouldn't say good guys, but guys against the guys they're against. I don't know. It's complicated. I think sometimes it has a little bit of the manga weirdness which I don't love. Like, there's some weird stuff that happens with the girl at some points where I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? But I would say overall, I mean, the art is beautiful. I think the story really works. I think that once we get rolling, it's a book that I can't, like, put down. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I'm just early on into it. If you're one of these people that's been sitting on the fence about Blade of the Immortal, give this shit a shot, dude. As long as you're not, like, faint of heart, dude. Because, again, there's some nasty shit that happens in this book. We're chopping heads off of dogs. We're killing babies. Like, we're doing all the bad shit, bro. It's really bad stuff that happens in here. So if you have the stomach for it, give it a go. I think it's a great time. I think that there's some really interesting characters. I think that it does a good job of subverting your expectation, right? Usually for the worse. Usually as soon as you feel like you understand what's happening, it's actually worse than you think is what's happening. And then we have to kind of like crawl up from the depths of whatever awful situation that we're in here. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of murder, a lot of not sabotage, but like intrigue, I think. And great characters that you care about. You know, whether they're like good or bad, I think that they're interesting and that they draw you in. Which really, what else could you ask for? But then again, you probably don't need me to recommend you Blade of the Immortal. It's one of the great manga of all time, from my understanding. It's got 10 fucking sick books like this. So that's really all you need. Yeah, these are 3 recommendations. I'm always looking for more recommendations. If you want to leave a comment about what you've been reading, maybe this past month or so that stuck out to you, I would love to hear it. I'd read all the comments. So it's much appreciated. Thank you guys for making it this far. If you like the videos, the best way to support me would be to go get something from my website, lior.com. I have comics and artwork up there. That is all stuff I create. Yeah, and then I'll see y'all in the next one.